Hi stamping friends. Today I'm going to do a really quick video on how to tie a bow. A lot of people out there have a lot of trouble making bows, and I was also one of them, but wanted to share with you that just practicing, and I do watch a lot of YouTube videos on different things when I want to learn how to make something. So this is a technique that I learned off of YouTube, and it makes it very easy to make a bow. Also, you don't have as much waste of ribbon. So I'm going to show you, I've got 4 different types of ribbon here. Some are easier to work with than others, but and we'll practice with it, and I want you to practice at home too. So the first thing I want to tell you first is that you really need a decent pair of scissors that you use just for using ribbon. And anybody who sews knows that you never use your fabric scissors with paper. So it's the same thing with ribbon and crafting. I use my paper snips for my paper, and I have some other bigger scissors for paper. And these are just something I bought at Walmart. This is just a Westcott set, but I've used it only for ribbon, and I tied this piece of burlap ribbon on there just so I know, and when I have a class I'll share it with others, and this is all that we use for cutting ribbon. So this is the first ribbon I'm picked. This is they're all Stampin' Up! Ribbons. This one is a let's see, Daffodil Delight Ruched ribbon. It's a heavy ribbon, so I found that it's really easy to work with. The heavier, denser ribbons are much easier to work with. So we'll start with this one. So what I do is just leave it on the roll, and you make a loop with your left hand, leave a little bit for the tail, and make your loop. And then I take my second finger and kind of make the second loop, and I give a little space in between, and then you're going to cross them over and put that loop through, and then there's your bow. But now you have to make it a little prettier. So I just kind of play with it, play with the loops, make them even, and then just tighten it to where you want it to be. I'll make that a little smaller because these will be on my cards. Pull the tail down, and then I take my scissors and cut it. So there's your bow, and you see it's got a nice front on it. And then what I do is I put a glue dot on the back, and then I will put it on, adhere it to my card or project, whatever I'm doing. So that's the ruched ribbon. And if you have any ribbon like this, any of the striped ribbons, even the organdy ribbons, they work fairly well, but I find that these heavier, denser ribbons are better. Okay, let's put this one aside. And then here is a shaded spruce and gold ribbon. This is from Christmas time. It's also a heavier ribbon. And again, you leave a bit for a tail, make a loop with your second or third finger. You make your second loop, so you have it like this, so you have a space in between, and you're going to cross them over. Move this loop underneath, pull it through, and the tail, the part when the tail is in the front on the left, that's the front of your bow. So then you pull it, straighten it, and that made a pretty nice bow. Fluff it up. Again, use your ribbon scissors, cut the tail, and there is another nice bow. Okay, so that's another heavier kind of ribbon. Okay, this is almost like bias tape. This is Whisper White, and it is almost like bias tape. It's very, very thin, And what I find problematic with this, for me, is the fact that there's a lot of static electricity with this. So you have a hard time flipping it and making the bows the way you want to, but we're going to try it. It's called Crinkled Seam Binding Ribbon, and it's Whisper White. It's in the catalog now, the annual catalog. So the process is all the same. You leave a little bit of a tail. You make a loop. Again, make another loop. Give yourself a good space in between. Cross the left over right. Put that loop through the hole and pull. Again, flip it over. There's your front tail. And it's sometimes hard to pull through. Now this one came out better than some of the other ones I've made. Not too bad. I'm just going to leave it like that, because what I find is that if the knot gets too tight, it doesn't allow you to loosen it, to pull it, to make it smaller or larger. Again, you see this, you have to kind of mess with the bow to get it to lace properly. It's a little bit more difficult to use. And then you cut it. Whoopsie. Very staticky. And see, it made a shaggy edge. So let me try that again. I'm just gonna hold the tail there. Let me hold this tail and cut it up real close there. So that's not too bad. Okay. So that is the Crinkled Seam Binding Ribbon by Stampin' Up. Also Whisper White. Okay, this is one of my favorite ribbons. It's the Polka Dot Tulle ribbon. It's very thin, very kind of fragile. It's tulle, if you've worked with tulle before. Very pretty ribbon, looks pretty on cards, makes pretty bows, but again, I have some trouble making the bows. But here, let's see how we do today. Again, it's all the same process. Leave a little bit for a tail, make your loop, make another loop, give yourself a little bit extra room in between. Let me do that again. And cross over, left over right, and pull your loop over and through the hole. Oh, let's see. I turned it around. As you can see how the bow gets all kind of turned around. So you have to play with it. There, that's better. If you don't pull the knot real tight, you'll have better results. So when you loop those loops over, left over right, and then pull your loop through to make your knot, as long as you don't pull it tight, see, I'm having trouble because it's getting caught in the dots, but I'll just, again, you have to practice there. That's a little bit better. A little bit better. Sometimes if you just don't make the knot real tight, you'll have a decent bow. So I think I might just leave it like that. Cut it like a little diagonal. There, that's not too bad. So I think the trick with these thinner ribbons is don't pull your knot real tight, and then you have the ability to loosen and tighten your bow as needed. So that's it. I hope that helps you make bows in the future, because so many of you don't like to make bows. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you for watching.